Hey, what's going on YouTube? Gary here, gzduel, here to bring you guys a deck profile of my Dragunity Tempest slash Stardust Assault Mode deck. And I've been recently playing with it, and it just like goes off all the time. It has like crazy combos, and it's really fun to play. Unless your opponent has max C, in which case then you'll basically cry. But you know, there is actually an opportunity if it's like really late game that you blow up and they max C. There's a chance that you can actually just deck them out, because it's really scary how many special summons this deck does. So without further ado, I'm gonna just get into the deck profile and explain some of the card choices, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So from the deck profile, we have for monsters 3 Assault Beast, 1 Zephyros the Elite, 3 Dragunity Mistletoe, 3 Dragunity Ducks, 2 Dragunity Phalanx, 2 Effect Veiler, 1 Garuda the Wind Spirit, 1 Mist Valley Baby Rock, 1 Red MD, 2 Stardust Assault Modes, and 2 Tempest. For the spells, we have 1 Dark Hole, 3 Dragon Ravine, 3 Golden Sarcophagus, 1 Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, 3 Misko's Place Typhoon, 1 Pot of Avarice, 2 Terraforming, 2 Assault Mode Activate, and 2 Royal Decree. So for the extra deck, we have 1 Crimson Blader, 1 Dragunity Gay Diarg, 2 Dragunity Vajrayana, 1 Chain Dragon, 1 Scrap Dragon, 2 Stardust, 1 Stardust Shining Radiance Dragon or something like that, 1 Constellar Ptolemy's M7, 1 Gauntlet Launcher, I think that's what it's called, 2 True Herbatic Dragon of Atum, and 2 Photon Strike Bouncer. And Photon Strike Bouncer is really sick. For the side deck, we have a lot of hand traps, because you know I'm a big believer in hand traps for side deck. We have 3 Drone Lockbird, 3 Electric Virus, 2 what is this called? Kawakimeru Drago. Kawakimeru Drago is really interesting. I'll tell you guys about the effect. 2 Maxi, as well as 2 Puppet Plants. For the traps, we have 2 Debunk and 1 the third Royal Decree. Okay, so let me talk about how this deck is supposed to work. Because I think the weakness of Stardust Assault Mode is that after you have Stardust Assault Mode, you don't have anything else as like a backup plan or defense. And if you use Stardust Assault Mode in the context of Dragunities, it's really cool, because not only can you get a Stardust out, you can get like a Photon Strike Bouncer if you have enough of the cards. If you can get also like a Constellar Ptolemy's M7, which is really awesome as well. And you can like go off and blow up into a combo where you can have like Red MD plus Stardust Assault Mode, and it's just really crazy. I've shown some duels where I like gotten crazy fields that you just really can't play out of. And so basically, the first thing I want to talk about for card choices is 3 Assault Beast. So some of you may be asking me like, why do you have 3 Assault Beast with searches for only 2 Assault Mode activates? Well, I think that Assault Beast serves 2 functions. First of all, of course, it searches for Assault Mode Activate, so technically you have like about 5 ways to get Assault Mode Activate whenever you need it. So it's good so that you can draw into any of these 5 choices, and you'll be able to go into Stardust Assault Mode first turn, which is actually very likely, by the way. If your opponent doesn't have Veiler or Max C, is actually really, really cool. The reason why I run 3 Assault Beast is even if the third or like fourth Assault Beast, the third Assault Beast is like useless. Once you draw, you can still use it as a monster. So if your opponent like plays first turn Thunder King, stopping your Dragon Ravine from working, stopping your Tempest effect from going off, stopping like special summons, inherent special summons like Mistletoe. So like what you can do is just you can normal summon Assault Beast instead of using Assault Beast to search for Assault Mode Activate, which you can't because he has Thunder King. And Assault Beast has 1,900 attack, and just attack into that Thunder King. So Assault Beast is really good because of its attack and because you can search for Assault Mode Activate. I run it at 3 because I never think it's dead. And if push comes to shove, he doesn't have Thunder King, he doesn't have any traps to bait out, you can definitely just throw it away with Dragon Ravine, discard it as a cost in order to search for Dragunity Ducks, or like discard Dragunity Phalanx as you see fit. Okay, and I want to talk about other stuff. I want to talk about the Mist Valley Baby Rock. Some of these Dragunity deck profiles that I've seen, they don't use Mist Valley Baby Rock, which I think it's okay. I like it just because you can shrink your deck with Dragunity Gay Diarg. I got this idea from my friend who plays Dragunities really heavily. He's a really good player. And so he uses Baby Rock, and like countless times where if you go for Baby Rock, you can synchro into things like Iron Chain Dragon. You can still go into your Atom, you can still go off, and it's just really versatile. It's also wind, and if you draw into it and your opponent has something to discard, help you discard, you can actually special summon it. Its effect is if this card is discarded from the hand to the graveyard, you can special summon it onto the field. So I use that, and Zephyros, it's Zephyros. I want to talk about why I main deck Effect Veilers. I feel like you should main deck one particular hand trap that you think will work well with the deck. I'm also tempted to main Drone Lockbird, simply because Drone Lockbird is a wind monster as well as a hand trap, so that if I have Tempest, I can just banish Drone Lockbird and just special summon Tempest. But I chose to main Veilers because Veiler is a level 1 tuner as well as a really good hand trap, and Dragon Ruler Tempest is a level 7 monster. So if I have only an Effect Veiler, I top deck an Effect Veiler, and I have Tempest in the graveyard, I can still go for a level 4, level 8 Synchro monster. So whether that be Stardust Radiance Dragon, Stardust Dragon, or a Scrap Dragon, or even Crimson Blader, it's just really good to be able to top deck into a Veiler and go into that. It's awesome. So Veilers are never dead as well, so I run it at 2. I like Veilers. Okay, I want to talk about why I only run 2 Tempest. 3, it's a bit much because you can only use this effect once per turn, and if you draw into all 3 first turn, it's just pretty tragic, because what are you going to do? Banish the other 2 to special summon 1? It's just not worth it. And you can always use it in the graveyard because you can once you special summon it and you synchro summon into something, next turn you can banish 2 other wind monsters and you can keep using it. And the fact that I don't want to draw into Tempest is it's a thing too, because I do run 3 Golden Sarcophagus. Most likely you would want to use Golden Sarcophagus first turn to banish the Tempest and use Tempest effect to search for Mistletoe or Dragunity Phalanx. That's what you want to do. You don't really want to draw it. If you run it at 3, then the chances of you drawing it is much higher, and you'll just be drawing into a card that you don't really want to draw into. I know it has the effect, if you discard a wind monster, you can search for a dragon monster. It comes in handy when you have Stardust Assault Mode in your hand, and it's a really big monster and you don't really need it. You can discard both of them to search for a Mistletoe, but other than that, 2, it's definitely enough. Other things I want to talk about, the 2 Royal Decree. I think Royal Decree is a really cool thing because what Stardust Assault Mode is also afraid of is Soul Drain, things like Macro, things those trap cards. That's why you run things that's why I run a minimal trap lineup and 2 Royal Decree, because what your opponent's likely to do is to divert your Stardust Dragon Assault Mode, send it to the graveyard, and then flip up the Soul Drain when it's in the graveyard, so that during the end phase its effect will not activate and Stardust Dragon Assault Mode will not come back. But if they do that and you flip up Royal Decree, then your Stardust Dragon does come back, and your Stardust Dragon is really beast, because now with Royal Decree on face up on the field, other trap cards that he might have set would also be negated as well. So there's less chances of them diverting your Stardust, because what your opponent can do in effect is, if you attack with something, your Stardust Assault Mode, so they activate a trap card, and then the Stardust Assault Mode negates that trap card, and then they activate another trap card in Chainlink 2, this Chainlink 2 trap card would still work. If it was the Mirror Force at Chainlink 2, your Red MD and your stuff on the field would get destroyed, even though your Stardust is in the graveyard. It doesn't really matter. But then if you have Royal Decree, you would stop all of those chaining, and you'll basically have more options to negate. Okay, in the side deck, I just want to talk about the side deck really quickly. The 3 Drone Lockbirds, of course, is for the Prophecy matchup, as well as, Elemental Dragons. I don't know if you should side it in. I usually don't side in this against Elemental Dragons, but, I've seen people side this in simply because Super Rejuvenation is really, really uncool. And of course, the 3 Electric Virus. I like Electric Virus because sometimes I use Electric Virus to steal my opponent's Stardust, and I just tribute a Stardust for one of my Assault Mode activates, and it's really, really, really satisfying. And sometimes, I want to steal one of their Drago Sacks. Sometimes I want to steal Ophion, because Ophion's a big problem for this deck. Inherently, there's not much of a out to Ophion, but there is an out to Ophion if you side in Electric Virus, because Ophion's a dragon type monster. You can use Electric Virus, steal the Ophion, and then tribute summon your Dragunity Mistletoe on top of Ophion in order to get rid of the Ophion without triggering into the Infestation Pandemic and whatever like that. And Kawakimeru Drago. Kawakimeru Drago has a really nice effect. While this card is face up on the field, light and dark monsters cannot be special summoned, which is awesome because, you know, you can stop Ophion, you can stop Evil Swarms from special summoning into like Evil Swarm Ophion. Although if he has Heliotrope, then you are kind of in trouble because Kawakimeru Drago's attack is only 1,900. But there are a lot of things that special summon that are light and dark, like Dark Worlds, for example. You can side this in against them. You can side this in against like agents if you want to block out like Christia and stuff. So Kawakimeru Drago is really nice, and if it's at its 1,900 attack, it can crash with Thunder King if you needed to. And the upkeep for Kawakimeru Dragos is if you just show a dragon monster during the end phase, it will survive on the field. Okay, and the 2 Maxis, because I like Maxi, and 2 Puppet Plants. I haven't played a Puppet Plant in any of my other deck profiles just because I don't think it's like necessary for those decks, because, you know, Puppet Plant steals like spellcasters and warriors. I didn't feel like it was necessary for my Madolches because, you know, I can just return Shien. But for this deck, there is a bit of a problem. If Shien decides to negate your Assault Activate, then you tributed your Stardust and you can't do anything about it. But if you have like Puppet Plant to actually steal the Shien, or if you have Puppet Plant to steal the Priestess, or if you have Puppet Plant to steal the Big Eye, which is also a spellcaster, it's actually really beneficial for you. Okay, and for this deck, I decided to try something new with Debunk. I usually run like what do I run? I run Mind Crush. Yes, I run Mind Crush. But now I decided to try some Debunk because it's as a counter trap card. It's like, you know, unchainable, like unless they have like another counter trap card, which is awesome. And also it banishes the thing instead of sending it to the graveyard. So if your opponent activates like Priestess's effect, you can use Debunk and you would banish the Priestess instead of sending it to the graveyard with Mind Crush, and then he'll just use Book of Life on Priestess, which is, you know, not that big of a deal for them. And if you banish a dragon ruler or like one of those baby dragons, it's awesome as well because you let them minus a bit. And that's why I like Debunk. And the third, Royal Decree, is just for people who side in Soul Drain against me, for Chain Burn, all that shenanigans. And so for those of you wondering, does Soul Drain does Royal Decree sometimes block Assault Activate? It doesn't, because you usually just use the Assault Activate once, or if you're lucky, twice to get the second Stardust. But other than that, you just have a face-up Royal Decree. Okay, I hope this was informative. I hope you guys like this deck profile. Give me suggestions if you guys play Dragunities, and this is Gary gzduels signing out.